This camera and lens cost about $5,000. This combination, about $250. Can you tell me which picture came from which camera or which setup? Today we're talking how to speed light. Yes, if you have one or multiples, I'm gonna do a quick photo shoot to show you my setup and how I use these things to get the best photos I can with whatever I'm using. Are we ready? Okay, so you got one flash. It's on top of your camera. It looks awesome. It feels heavy. You look professional. Great, now let's get some photos. The first thing I'm gonna show you is when the flash is on camera, there's a ETTL mode. All flashes have this. This is the automatic setting. So it's gonna read your focal length on your camera. The flash is gonna make up that exposure so that your photo looks the best it can be. Now let me switch it to photos. You'll also notice that your shutter speed is now limited. You can't go above 200. That's the sync speed of the flash to your camera. Each one is gonna be a little different, but usually 200 or below, 200 of a second or below, unless you use high-speed sync on your flash, which is gonna use a lot more battery. So I'm gonna leave it at 200. Now I'm gonna set it here on a tripod and take a portrait so you can see how it does. Okay, now I got the flash, I can see what I'm doing, and with my remote control, I will be able to get a photo. So I'm here, focus, chin out. Okay, that's the photo. It looks like paparazzi. There's shadows, it doesn't look great. Now, here's the trick. When you have a white wall, you can see the building doesn't have a white wall, you can change your flash, aim it at the wall. Now I'm also gonna change it to manual mode and shoot the flash at half power to see how it does. The idea now is that the flash is gonna bounce off this and illuminate my face. Okay, focus again. There we go, chin out. Change my aperture. All right, let's try again. All right, look at the difference. Look at this photo compared to the one where the flash is straight on. Using a white wall, a white curtain, a white reflector, anything is gonna give you that softer look, the more directional look of the light, and it's just gonna be a better quality image than head on. Anyway, that's the first step. Bounce the light off a wall, off the ceiling. If I show you the ceiling, you'll know that it's not white. And what happens when it's not white is that it's gonna change the white balance of the image. I could use it up top, and I'll show you what happens. Let's bounce it. So see, now it gives me an orangey glow because of the color, and there's so many colors here in the ceiling that it doesn't make any sense to bounce it out there when I have a white wall that I can use. Okay, now let's use a remote trigger and multiple lights, see how that works. Now to shoot multiple or flashes off camera, we're gonna need a remote trigger. This is a very old one I bought. This is an iShoot. It cost me like 20 bucks. I'm also using a diffuser. I actually got 3 like this because I like to have a 3-point setup. One light from behind, one from the side, one from the front, just to get everything evenly lit. Especially if I'm shooting for stock. I want the photos to look the best they can look. Whoa. I was trying to set up a fog machine to do some side effects here, and it jumped the gun. Okay, I got my 3-point light set up here. I got one up here, I got one up there, and one over here to the side. My camera is going to be over here, but the best thing about flash is I get to walk the scene and the light's gonna stay the same. It's gonna stay consistent. There's 4 ways that you can adjust the output of the flash and how the final image is going to look. Like I said earlier, you can't change your shutter speed. So the first thing you do is you set your shutter speed to the max sync speed. That way, that's set, you don't have to change that. Now, if I take the flash off and take a photo, which I'm doing right now, then it should be a dark image because there's no light. Ambient light is not interfering. The video lights are not strong enough to affect the image, which is awesome. You always want to do a test shot to make sure that that the image looks black. There's no interference from any outside light. Anyway, now let me put it back on. Okay, now like I said before, there's 4 ways of changing that exposure. The output of the flash, which is one of them, is manually changing the flash power on the flash itself, on the device itself. The other way is to adjust your ISO. Let me zoom in a little bit. And then you can change your aperture. The other way that you can adjust the brightness or darkness of your image is by moving the light, by physically moving the lights. The inverse square law of light. Every time you double the distance from the light source to your subject, you're getting a quarter of that power output. So adding distance or removing distance is gonna intensify or reduce the amount of light on your subject. Okay, let's get some photos. Like I've said before, with stock photography, when something sells, do more of that. If it's selling, do more. So I got the puzzle pieces that I used in a video quite a while ago. Those photos have been selling, so let me do more with a different concept. Okay, now the benefit of using a modern camera is that I have remote view. I can see what I'm doing and I can compose the image without having to be behind me. So I want to take a photo here. I want to use the puzzle pieces like I'm gonna solve it. I put a red piece of paper underneath, and now I got the puzzle. The 3 light setup, I haven't tested it on me yet, but let's see. I gotta get my shoulder in the image a little bit. Take the phone out of the way. Let's take a photo. All right, the photo looks fine, light looks fine. I do think I need a little bit more zoom on the camera. There we go. Now that's a little bit closer. You see more of the detail still over my shoulder to give the impression that, you know, we're looking through and shooting through me in a way that I think the photo could be used. And pretty soon I'll turn on the fog machine again just to get a different perspective. And that's the main thing when you're working with flash photography. Once you find where your lights are and where your photo looks best, then you can shoot all day long. You can just move your prop, you can keep shooting, and your photos are gonna look the same lighting, same setup. You might run out of batteries if you're working with rechargeable batteries like I am, but the images are gonna look great. You're gonna have a concept, you're gonna have good, sharp images, well lit. Flash. There we go, that looks a lot better on camera with that light over my shoulder. Now, at the beginning of the video, I showed you the photos and I asked you if you knew which camera they came from, whether it was a $200 camera or the $5,000 camera. If you have good lighting, then your photos are gonna look great regardless of what camera you're using. The $5,000 camera, the $5,000 setup that I'm using right now, I can use a remote trigger, I can connect it to my phone, I can see what I'm doing, I can change settings from my device. So it is a tool that's helping me get better images. Doing that by myself with the other camera would be pretty much impossible. It would be incredibly difficult to do it. If you're shooting other people, much better, but to do it yourself with a setup like this for self-portraits, for self-photography, when you're including your parts, your body, your shoulder, your arms, anything, is going to be extremely difficult. That's why I'm using this one. The fact that I can flip the screen and see what I'm doing, I can focus remotely using my little point and shoot remote like this one. It just makes life so much easier, and that's the point of having tools, is to make your life easier. But anyway, the other benefit of having this camera over the other one is the dynamic range. If I blow out my face with the highlights, I cannot recover it from the 5D or the 7D, but I can do it on the R5. So they're just the small things here and there. If lighting's good and you know how to use your camera, it doesn't matter which camera you're using. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.